So Donald Trump and Kim Jong-un finally met, and the whole thing just looks weird.
And these are the images, the historic photo op being broadcast around the world tonight. We just don't know yet what this all means. It's currently just after 11 a.m. in Singapore, where Donald Trump and Kim Jong-un are still meeting. This marks the first ever meeting between a sitting president of the U.S. and a North Korean leader. Immediately after their initial handshake, President Trump, Kim Jong-un spoke with reporters.
I feel really great. We're going to have a great discussion, and I think tremendous success. We'll be tremendously successful. And it's my honor, and we will have a terrific relationship, I have no doubt.
Well, it was not easy to get here.
우리한테는 우리 발목을 잡는 그 과거가 있고 또 그릇된 국민과 발행들이 우리 때로는 우리 눈과 귀를 가리고 했는데 우리 모든 것을 이겨내고 이 자리까지 왔습니다.
The past worked as fetters on our wings, and the old prejudices and practices worked as obstacles on our way forward, but we overcame all of them, and we are here today.
I'm just increasingly amazed by what the news is. A year ago, or maybe not a year ago, but even a year ago, but 2 years ago, 3 years ago, 4 years ago, 5 years ago, the idea of Donald Trump, of us seeing Kim Jong-un and Donald Trump shaking hands, we would be blown away. We would have to process that Donald Trump, a reality star, is the president. And then once you process that, you have to process that Kim Jong-un is apparently trying or maybe attempting to denuclearize his country in order to be a part of the rest of the world. And this whole thing is just weird. I think weird is the title, the headline of this entire story. So did anything actually come out of this? Now, according to this reporting from Politico, Trump pledges to end military exercises as part of North Korea talks, but critics are warning that the U.S. president may be giving away too much. Now, I'm not an expert on North Korean relations, so I can't tell you if Trump is giving away too much or not. But what I do know is that there really isn't a deal yet. Nothing has actually really happened. So Trump has, I guess, apparently offered to end these military exercises and not gotten anything in return. But since there's no deal, I don't really think this even matters right now. But this is all too early. So what I really want to focus on in this video are just the reactions from people after this happened and even before this happened. So first, I want to share the top level here from how Americans and South Koreans felt about this meeting as a whole. So this survey was conducted by the Charles Koch Institute, I know, and Real Clear Politics. I trust this survey is fine. So asked whether they thought President Trump should meet with Kim Jong-un, 70% of Americans said the two should meet, 18% said they should not, and 12% said they were unsure. In South Korea, these numbers were even higher, with 81% of Koreans saying the two leaders should meet, 9% saying they should not, and 10% expressing uncertainty. Now this shows you that, at least before the meeting, people were largely supportive of this idea, and I'm on board with that. So, so far, not talking to North Korea hasn't really solved anything. So even though, yes, it's Donald Trump, and there is always a potential that something will go wrong, something could also go wrong if they don't meet. So I think him meeting face-to-face with Kim Jong-un is fine. And at least so far, it hasn't appeared to make anything worse. So right now, it appears to be a positive step. But again, this is the day after this happened. So we don't really know what the outcome of this will actually be. But let me get to some reactions from politicians here. So first up, House Speaker Paul Ryan tweeted this out. Only time will tell if North Korea is serious this time. And in the meantime, we must continue to apply maximum economic pressure. The road ahead is a long one. But today, there is hope that POTUS has put us on a path to lasting peace in the Korean Peninsula. And this response from fake resistor Bob Corker, who's been vocally critical of Trump while voting for every piece of Trump legislation. My statement on North Korea summit. While I am glad the president and Kim Jong-un were able to meet, it is difficult to determine what of concrete nature has occurred, said Corker. I look forward to having Secretary Pompeo before our committee soon to share his insights and look forward to carrying out our oversight responsibilities. Now, this response from everyone's favorite corporate Democrat, Nancy Pelosi, who put out a statement, and this was just part of her statement. In his haste to reach an agreement, real Donald Trump elevated North Korea to the level of the United States while preserving the regime's status quo. And this last response here from Bernie Sanders, while very light on substance, Trump and Kim Jong-un's meeting is a positive step in de-escalating tensions and addressing the threat of North Korea's nuclear weapons. Congress has a key role to play in making sure this is a meaningful process, not just a series of photo ops. So, how I feel almost exactly about the situation was dictated well in this Twitter exchange between Emma Vigeland and Ben Mankiewicz. So Emma tweeted out, some of these Democrats see the political benefit of bashing Trump as more important than encouraging and incentivizing world peace. It's deeply depressing. War is bipartisan in America. And Ben Mankiewicz replied, totally true, but neither should we afford a big political win to a known mendacious poser when a real win for a peaceful world remains absent. The odds that these two paranoid authoritarian children of privilege and their incompetent staffs make this happen remain negligible. And I agree with both of them. So I do agree that, bashing Trump for the sake of bashing Trump is not productive. Here is somebody who is actually, at least on the surface level, attempting to try and be diplomatic in their response to North Korea that has been, before this, appeared like we might get to nuclear war. So I'm glad Trump, came off that high horse. But here's at least a positive step in the right direction. But at the same time, Ben Mankiewicz is also right. Just because this is a positive step doesn't mean that we should be crediting Donald Trump for not starting a war, which I think that is really what I got out of a lot of this. A lot of the news media, a lot of people on Twitter were just happy that Trump didn't completely fuck this up. That he didn't insult Kim Jong-un and a war broke out. So that is the level of expectation that we have for Donald Trump. The bar is so low. If he doesn't fuck up, if he doesn't completely, screw up and start a nuclear war, then it's a good thing. And we can't get too caught up into that mentality because then we get lost in what we should actually expect of the president of the United States. But because it's Trump, our expectations are just so low. Now, something that I think is funny that came out of this, that was actually tweeted out by Ken Klippenstein, is this headline from USA Today. Trump-Kim handshake, talk of peace sinks U.S. defense stocks. And ultimately, this is the best thing to come out of this historic meeting. Sinking defense stocks for contractors like Lockheed Martin and Raytheon. These companies that profit off of death and destruction. So because there is a talk of potential peace with North Korea, all of a sudden their stocks drop. So on the other side of that, if we were actually escalating to a potential war with North Korea, their stocks would be growing. This is how disgusting the military-industrial complex is. The more civilians die, the more money they make. But whatever, that's a whole other video that I don't want to get into right now. So this is, overall, I think this meeting was fine. I'm glad it happened because it happened positively. Nothing bad came out of it, unless you want to say that, Trump ending the military exercises is a bad move. Whatever. It's so early. So nobody can really pass real judgment on this yet. I'm just happy that there isn't war escalating and that there is potential here for more discussions and to get closer to a peace deal. So until that happens, we shouldn't slam Trump too much for this meeting because he didn't really do anything wrong. And we shouldn't give him too much praise either because nothing really happened. So just keep an open mind and let's wait until something actually gets written down and there is an actual peace deal on paper. Hey, if you like this video, hit that subscribe button below and consider throwing me a few bucks on Patreon at patreon.com/therationalnational or therationalnational.com/join.